Are you ready for part 4, the final part of Papa Panov's special day? So we've seen Papa Panov the shoemaker reading his Bible and finding out about Jesus. We've heard Jesus' voice speaking to him, telling him to look and wait, watch and wait. We've seen Papa Panov watching and waiting. He's been kind to the road sweeper. He's been kind to the lady and her baby. And he's still watching and waiting, watching and waiting. Let's find out what happens next. Hours ticked by and people came and went. Papa Panov looked closely at everyone who passed. But Jesus did not come. Then he began to be afraid. Perhaps Jesus had come and he had not recognized him. Perhaps he had passed by quickly when Papa Panov had turned away, just for a second to poke the fire or boil the soup. The old shoemaker could sit still no longer. He went to the door of the little shop for one last look. All sorts of people came by, children and old men, beggars and grannies, cheerful people and grumpy people. To some he gave a smile, to some a nod, and to the beggars a coin or a hunk of bread. But Jesus did not come. As dusk fell and the grey December fog began creeping up again, the old shoemaker sadly lit his oil lamp and sat down wearily in the great wicker chair. He took out his book to read, but his heart was too heavy, and his eyes were too tired to make out the words on the page. It was only a dream after all, he said to himself sadly. I wanted to believe it so much. I wanted him to come. And 2 great tears welled up behind his spectacles and filled his eyes so that he could hardly see. Have you ever had your eyes so full of tears that you could hardly see? Poor Papa Panov, he's feeling very sad, isn't he? At once it seemed as if there was someone in the room. Through his tears, Papa Panov seemed to see a long line of people passing across the little shop. The road sweeper was there, and the woman with her child, all the people he had seen and spoken to that day. And as they passed, they whispered one by one, "Didn't you see me? Didn't you see me, Papa Panov?" "Who are you?" cried the old shoemaker, struggling out of his chair. "Who are you? Tell me." Oh, he looks a bit scared and worried, doesn't he? And there came the same voice as the night before, though where it came from, Papa Panov could not have said. I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me water. I was cold, and you took me in. These people you have helped today, all the time you were helping them, you were helping me. Then everything was quiet. The tears dried in the old man's eyes, and there was no one to be seen. "Dearie, dearie," said Papa Panov slowly, pulling at his long grey moustache. "So he came, after all." The old shoemaker shook his head from side to side thoughtfully. Then he smiled, and the sparkle came back behind his little round spectacles. Let's read Jesus' words again. "I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me water. I was cold, and you took me in. These people you have helped today, all the time you were helping them, you were helping me." So all the kindness Papa Panov showed to those people, all the love that he gave them, Jesus was saying it was just as if Papa Panov was being kind and loving to Jesus. Isn't that wonderful? Can you see why it's one of my favourite Christmas stories? I hope you enjoyed it too. Happy Christmas, everyone.